Stay tuned for a meeting of the City of Calabasas Commission. The meeting will be broadcast using Zoom and the city's CTV Channel 3. Commission members may teleconference into the meeting without noticing or posting an agenda at their teleconference location. Besides the live TV and Zoom broadcast, the live stream of the meeting may be viewed online at cityofcalabasas.com/CTV Live. If you want to provide public comment, press Raise Hand if you're using Zoom or *9 if you're joining by phone. Just unmute yourself by pressing *6. Say your name and the city you live in. You'll be allowed 3 minutes to address the Commission regarding any item within the subject matter jurisdiction of the Commission. If the power or internet goes out lasting more than 15 minutes, or if there's some event that prevents the Commission from meeting or prevents you from providing public comment, then the meeting will be adjourned. Any items noticed as public hearings will be rescheduled to the next regular Commission meeting. Any other agenda items the Commission has not taken action on will be placed on a future agenda. Now, a meeting of the City of Calabasas Commission.
Okay, good evening. I'm Charlotte Meyer, and this evening we are having our Parks, Recreation, Education Commission meeting, December 8th, 2022. I'd like to call the meeting to order. The first thing I'd like to do is take a roll call of our commissioners, and why don't we just call, I'm Charlotte Meyer, and each person please introduce yourself and say here. Julie, you want to start?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Julie Elginer, and I'm present.
Brad?
Hi, Brad Wiseman. I'm present.
Megan?
Hi, I'm Negan Ghaffari. I'm present.
And Laurel?
Hi, I'm Laurel Ford and I'm present.
Great, thank you very much. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. I will please stand. I guess we stand for this. And I'll lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Please put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. May I please have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Laurel. And is there a second?
Yes, I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Laurel and a second by Julie Elginer. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 And let the motion pass. Let it be noted that the motion passed unanimously. Okay. Does anybody have any announcements? Oh, the minutes. Do we have any I didn't get any. Do we have minutes here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? I think they were a long time ago. I saw them. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Okay, Megan approved, a motion to approve, and Brad seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, motion passed unanimously. Thank you. Okay, are there any announcements that anybody would like to make? Nothing? Okay, I have an announcement. I'd like to say I am very pleased to acknowledge one of our commissioners who has worked tirelessly to educate our citizens about the gross mistreatment of women in Iran. I am proud for our city for choosing her to be the Calabasas Citizen of the Year. By doing so, our city has demonstrated its support of human rights. And I'd like to congratulate our Commissioner, Negan Ghaffari, as the Calabasas Citizen of the Year. Congratulations, Negan. I'm very proud that you live here and that I am your friend. So thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored and humbled. I think there are so many deserving people in our city and far more deserving than me. And I'm really, really humbled by this honor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'd also like to congratulate someone who has served on the Senior Center's task force. We worked together. We dreamed together. We designed together. We oversaw construction together, and we developed together the world-class programming that the senior center has achieved. This person has served as the Mowood Homeowners Association president for 10 years. He's a longtime Calabasas resident and was just recently elected to the city council. I am pleased to congratulate Ed Albrecht, who is now going to be taking Mary Sue's place on the city council. So I don't know if Ed is here or not, but I just wanted to publicly congratulate him at our meeting today. Maybe he'll raise his hand and we can see him if he's present or later on in the meeting. So that's all I have to say. Let's move on. Nobody else has any comments? Nope. Okay. All right. Are there any oral communications, public comments on any item that is not agendized this evening? Nope. Okay, good. All right. All right. Now we're going to move on to new business. We have 2 parks that are currently in progress. And we'll start with the first one, which is update on Wild Walnut Park. Director Green, you have the floor.
Hey, good evening, commissioners and members of the public. So tonight I wanted to provide an update on 2 park projects that we are working on that was city council approved. One of those being Wild Walnut Park project. So to this point, I'm sure you're all very aware, but I'll kind of go over some history of that. And then we'll move on to where we are today. In April 2019, the City Council approved the Wild Walnut Master Plan, which included a dog park, play area, parking lot, and portable restrooms. In June of 2020, that project was put out to bid, and City Council rejected all those bids related to the project due to the costs. Council gave direction to install a temporary dog park and value engineer the Wild Walnut Master Plan and determine other funding sources for a permanent park. In August 2020, the temporary dog park installation began and opened in September of 2020. In July 2022, staff presented the value engineered plans to the PRE and then to the City Council in August 2022, who then approved the funding for the project, however, directed staff to move the playground area from near Mulholland Highway. In November 2022, staff presented 2 schematic options at a public engagement workshop and received feedback on those schematics. The staff report was created before we did our last workshop, which was held on Monday, December 5th. So at that workshop, 2 additional schematics were shown to the public and obtained feedback. We obtained feedback for those. So what I wanted to show, I'm going to share my screen here and kind of go over some of the items, the last 2 options, so you all can see those. So let me share my screen. Okay, so this, we called it option C, but really A and B were kind of, were not popular. So really this is probably option A. So in this schematic, what we heard from the workshop was that the playground area be larger. So we originally had the playground here in the value engineered version. We moved the playground to this area, and this is about 5,000 square feet. And then we left the dog area here. We also moved the temporary restroom enclosure to this side of near the playground. It was located in this area in the previous version. So this is one version we took into consideration. I met with the architect the day of the workshop, and we decided on a different or another option. And this option is in black and white because we thought of it a couple hours before the workshop. But in this, so it's a little hard to read, so I'll kind of talk this through. This area right here is the small dog park. This is where we were originally going to put the playground at one point. We then expanded the playground even more in this version. Whoops. Got a little mouse trigger happy there. And then this is the large dog park area. So we received some feedback to reduce the large dog park area and leave some open space. So the architect and I are working on that. The overlay, and in this meeting, and I'll I'll kind of show you what, this is the workshop PowerPoint that we highlighted for the community. But here, let's see. So this, we kind of overlaid the dog park. We were trying to show the community the sizes of the current playgrounds that we have and dog parks we have, so they could get a relative idea. It's really hard to look at this flat map and kind of figure out ratio and perception from that. So this is the Calabasas dog park, or bark park, and this is about almost 3/4 of an acre. What we're showing in those other options is the dog park at Wild Walnut, about less than 1/2 an acre. Standard size for a dog park is about 1/2 an acre to an acre. So that's why we kept that size in our design, original design. We also highlighted the size of the playground to give the community some perspective. This is Deanza Park. So this is relatively the size of the playground that we're looking to put at Wild Walnut. In fact, it might be a little bigger in that option D at this point. So we are trying to let the community know, one, give it some scope, because it's really hard to tell, like I said, from these maps where everything looks flat. And we know that it's not flat. It's a very mountainous region. We also went through a lot of limitations that site has, which is grading, environmental, and just the scope itself. So we highlighted that. It seemed that the community understood, and I think it was very helpful for the architect to go through all of those limitations, ADA, things like that we need access for all. So where we ended up was with those last two options. So where we're going to go from here is the architect and I met. We modified the plans a little bit. We included another workshop to be held on Tuesday. I think the staff report said the 12th, but it's actually Tuesday the 13th, December 13th at 6 p.m., where we will showcase those new designs, showcase some playground elements, and move forward from there. So hopefully we get feedback and we get consensus on one of those options. And from that point, we will send it out via survey to the entire community and get feedback that way too. And then once that comes back, hopefully we'll have a direction on the plans and on the amenities that are to be in the park. And we could put it out to bid and go from there. So tonight, this report was just an update and for you to receive and file this project update. Once we get this finalized, I will definitely forward that to the pre, so you can look at that. I'm trying to get it out to bid as soon as possible. If it doesn't do it in January, I will come back to the pre in January and you guys can have input on that. If we can get it out before, because we really want to get this out to bid, we may not. It may be just an email and getting input from you via email. So that's where we're at this point. I'm going to put it back to these options so we can definitely get input from you on these two options. So yes, Julie, question.
Thank you, Erica. I really appreciate the update. I have a quick question on the parking. I am sure that has been studied extensively, but do we have an estimate on, number one, how many parking spots that this will hold? And number two, what we anticipate utilization to be relative to the fact that this is the only park in that particular area. I obviously would love to maximize both open space. I completely agree that especially dogs need to relieve themselves while they're there. B, maximizing playground, but I also am mindful of the fact that I don't want to have too much parking or too little. So I just wanted to ask if any analysis has been done around that.
Yeah, there has been. The parking lot right now is under construction. That's part of the Mulholland project that's happening right now with the sidewalk from Calabasas and adding the curb and such. So that's the Public Works Department that's kind of working on that. So he would probably have a better analysis of the parking lot. The parking spaces, I believe, are about 25 to 30. And that was adding a few by moving if you can see here, dropping the entrance a little lower here gave us some more opportunity to add some, and we extended it out here a little bit. I think originally it was going to cut off about this point, so it gave us some additional parking spaces. So it'll be adequate for the use of the park. Then again, adding a larger playground is going to increase the use. So hopefully we have enough parking for everyone. But yes, I think there was an analysis done earlier. I think even in the original meetings with the architect, and I can definitely find that information out and let you know what that is. But that's where we stand at this point.
And my follow-up question is, there is not any electric charging stations here, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Brad?
Yeah, so the map or the overview that you're showing right now, the playground is about 5,000 square feet.
Correct.
And the Plan B, it literally doubles that.
Plan D here, I think it adds another 1,000 or so square feet because we're adding this portion right here.
Okay, because the map you showed us of De Anza was a quarter of an acre, which is 10,000 feet. So this would be a little bit less than that then.
Yeah, well, they said that the architect said De Anza was about 5,000 or 6,000 square feet.
Okay.
So we overlaid it with this. This one's bigger. The option C is probably the size of this playground is the size of De Anza.
But
Here.
De Anza has 2 playgrounds.
They do, yes.
This is only one playground.
Yes.
So that's what the, so we have to remember that. This is more of a neighborhood park, whereas De Anza is more of a regional park because they're going to have pickleball courts and skating rings, and it's just
Yes.
a big room where people can meet and do things.
Right.
And they have a covered patio area. So this is more of a neighborhood park. And it's probably the best that we can ask for, but I don't mean to cut you off. Is there anybody else who wants to say something?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay, go ahead, Laurel.
Yeah, I had a question. By the way, I wanted to start out by saying I thought your presentation on the 5th was excellent and very clear. I appreciate all the time and effort that went into it. My question is on option D versus option C in terms of keeping the feel of the native landscape. It seemed like in the presentation, you guys said that there was less grading, less, I don't know.
Yes, disturbance of the landscape. With option D, there's less grading here.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people really wanted the natural feel of that area. So given that, would option D provide more of the native landscape feel than option C?
Not so much. I think they could both be that way. I think option D just gives the playground a little bit more and we have to grade less. Let me show you option C again really quick. Coming out in here we're going to have to start grading. If we stay close tightly to the parking lot, it's less grading. So the flat area really is about here. So I heard some folks in the workshop kind of mention moving the dog park up this hill. This is a slope. So the dogs are going to be running on a 10-15% slope right here. But we have to have the gates and things accessible to ADA and to people just coming. We don't want them to have to walk up here to get into the dog park. So while we could use all this flat land for the playground, we definitely need accessibility for ADA access. So in option D, I think we kind of close that access. We made it a little smaller over here and use more of the flat land in this area.
Okay, so less grading in option D and a larger playground in option D.
Correct.
Okay. All right, thank you for that clarification.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Erica.
Of course. So from
Right.
here, is there any other questions on Wild Walnut?
I
Well-
actually had another question. if that-
Sure.
On the restroom, I know that initially there was some concern about perhaps, homeless people hanging out at the bathroom or whatever. Is it locked at night? Is there any kind of supervision, or how is that going to be maintained?
Yeah, good question. So let me go back to the clear screen here. So right now, so the park itself doesn't have irrigation or a sewer line. So the restrooms aren't permanent restrooms. This is going to be temporary restrooms, sort of like the Bark Park, where they get maintained every, a couple times a week. So it's going to be a portable restroom with a restroom enclosure. And that enclosure, which we will highlight in the next workshop, some various options for that. But that enclosure is see-through, so there's no, it's kind of hidden, but you could still see in it. So we wouldn't have to worry about anyone hiding in there, sleeping in there. And yes, they would be locked up. That is something that we'd have to work out with the Public Works Department. But when we do our park closures, we do lock gates, lock restrooms. So we definitely can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Good.
Julie?
Yeah, my final question, well, maybe I shouldn't say my final one. My final one right now
Okay.
is around just the trails. Am I looking at this correctly, that this is going to be like crushed gravel or something like that that goes around the park?
That's in the dog area, or these things? This is this dog area. This dog area and the playground are going to be the 5R wood chips.
Yes, no, I meant to the outside here, around the area. It looks like there's a trail of some
Here,
sort.
yeah, those are already trails that are already there. Those are
And-
dirt DG trails.
That's what I was just asking.
Yes,
We're not going to be disrupting the trail.
No. Everything's going to be within those confines, those trails. We won't be disrupting or crossing over. This right here is just an error on the architect's part. No trail will be covered or disrupted.
Thank you for clarifying. That was my question. Thank you.
No problem. So from here, we'll have our Tuesday workshop with more refined options C and D, and get the input, like I said, from the community on the workshops. We will send that out via survey. I will send that obviously to the pre and out to the community, and see what we get back from there. And then hopefully we can finalize a design, which I will showcase to the pre as well. And with that, go out to bid and potentially get this part built.
Wonderful.
Could we look at option D one more time?
Sure.
please?
Yeah.
It seems like this is one that the commission is leaning towards.
Mhm.
I would just like to maybe not ask you to vote, but just maybe a consensus. Do we agree that this one has maybe a thumbs up, or something that if we had a choice between C and D, we would lean towards? I'm going to give Erica just some feedback here. I'm leaning towards D. I think D has more. Yeah, I think
I also
because of
agree
the
with D.
and one of the things that appeals to me is that the children are getting a larger playground, and so we have what we're trying to do with this park is to serve as many different stakeholders in the community with as much equity as or parity as we can provide. So the one thing that I think is missing, there are some other amenities. I don't know what we can do. For instance, the wild walnut, the walnut grove is totally, it didn't seem to have a big grade or anything. What's the story about that area?
So listening to the community at the workshop, we heard that they wanted shade and picnic area. So in talking to the architect a couple days ago, we thought, why not make this Walnut Grove kind of a picnic grove?
Yeah.
So we thought about adding more picnic tables and things of that nature in the Walnut Grove area. So that'll be highlighted in the new option. We thought to keep the natural aesthetic, to have the trees be the shade. We are going to add shade to this But again, the survey results, keeping the natural aesthetic was very high for the community. So we want to limit the amount of obtrusive things or things that cover the natural beauty of the area. So we thought making the Walnut Grove a picnic grove and putting a lot more picnic tables and things in that area so people can come and picnic might be sufficient, or that would be something the community would enjoy. So we are going to put that in the new renditions of the schematics, and we will go over that on Tuesday.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. That would have been a nice surprise, but now I'm even more surprised. I like my surprise. I like my surprises as early as possible.
Right, exactly.
So I'm happy to hear that, because I knew that was one of the things that they wanted to be able to take their Boy Scout troops, their Girl Scout troops, a walk there from Chaparral Elementary School. I don't know if they, or carpool there, and have a place to go after school where they can have their meetings and the kids can run around and play. There was one thing that I really was wondering about. When I walked this park, I know that if you look where the Walnut Grove is right behind it, there's a part, we can see partially a path, and it goes up a hill. Does that, because it's a hill and it is like almost like a hiking trail, would, because of the ADA compliance, would that preclude us using that hill as a hiking trail up to the top? Because the kids would really use it. I know they would. They like to run around and go up hills and down hills. Would that be a possibility to make that a hiking trail with something like a bench at the top where they could finally get to the top and sit down and enjoy the view? Anything like that? Could that be added? Because that's not a big deal, but it's making use of space in that park.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's a great idea, Charlotte. We will definitely note that. No, the ADA access doesn't prohibit us from having the trails. We just need to have access to trailheads and things of that nature. But to actually use the trail, no, we wouldn't have any ADA access issues. So we will look at that. I'll make a note of that, and we can definitely explore that option.
Okay. Is there room to add, I don't know if I'm using the right term. Is there room to add some park course stations? Those are like mini exercise stations?
Sure. That's not in the scope of this project. That would be something we could look at maybe in the future. This project that was approved by council is only the playground and the permanent dog park, parking lot, and some other small amenities. So that project scope is what, one, we're applying for grants for, and two, what the council approved. So if we wanted to add things of that nature, it's not saying we couldn't in the future, but the scope of this project is just as I mentioned. So,
but if you look at where the small dog park is, when I read the value engineering, I'm just learning this term from you. Actually, I've never known it before. I built schools, but not parks. So when the spaces are far apart, like adjacent to the small dog park, that means it's not as steep as when the spaces are closer together. Is that correct?
So no, so this is very flat here. Yes, this is very flat. That's why we first had the playground here. But
where the arrow is now.
Where the arrow is now, where's my?
It was there before. Oh, it was over. No, there. You just moved it.
This way?
No, a little bit to the left. My left. There you go. When they're far apart, does that mean the grading is not as steep?
Correct. So these lines that we're showing, the closer they get, the steeper it is. So there
is room here to add some kind of equipment if we wanted to in the future.
Well, park course equipment is usually on the outer near some sidewalks. That's where usually park course equipment is. They do it that way, but we can. But this is still steep. I mean, this is still a slope. That's why this dog park has this kind of cut right here. That's where it starts to slope up. And I know on these photos here, it looks really flat, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, it slopes up pretty steep right about here.
Okay. All right.
So this is the area we're talking about for the small dog park. But yes, we can look at future additions. But for this project that's already been approved and funded is
Okay.
for these amenities.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
This is very exciting, and I applaud your efforts.
Thank you.
Okay. I would just like to say one thing. I have been talking to people on the tree board who are in the environmental commission, and
Charlotte, can I interrupt you for just 1 second? I
Yes.
think we have some public comment on this item.
oh, good.
Yeah, so I think we have Rosa Besser. I'm gonna allow her to talk. Go ahead, Rosa.
Good evening, everybody. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I was at the workshop meeting and the other meetings. I would just like to point out a couple of issues. I did bring up the fact about that there were picnic benches by the Walnuts previously. There also was a wood fencing. Having been at the park, those walnuts don't look so good. I hope that the Public Works and Environmental are aware of that. Maybe they are healthy, but they don't look so great. And it was fenced before, and I don't know if they were fenced so that the public would be kept away from the trees. I don't know how sensitive they are. I love the idea, though, of trying to get some picnic benches there. One comment about the division of large and small dogs. It seems to work better, and I would favor having a fenced and having them together because we lose area. Very often in these large, small, people don't differentiate. I mean, the dogs are all mixed together, or you open up the gate. It also brings the people closer together. A dog park is a misnomer. It is a people park who happen to be bringing their dogs. We want to get together as a community. And it's not all oldsters, which brings me to the third point, other than the small and large dogs, separate areas, is the elevation. I am concerned. People come to dog park not just to have their dog run around, but these are people that cannot necessarily walk their dog or exercise their dog because they themselves, the people, have physical issues. So as you said, Erica, we can't go too far up the hill because I know it's difficult for some of the people to take that hike. So bear that in mind, everybody, that the dog people, if you want to call them that, also need to have easy access. We're not all young and healthy. Many are. And also wishing, I want to bring my grandkids there at the same time as I bring the dog, and to be able to keep my eyes on both of those creatures. So thank you for your consideration. And please, let's make 2023 when we have our park and the community can have a lot of fun there. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, great. Is there anybody else?
No.
Okay. Okay. So I was just about to say, because you were talking about the trees, that I too had some concerns about the condition of those trees, but they have been neglected for so many years. Maybe they just need some attention and they'll be thriving again, once again. But the tree board was at one time a separate entity operating with more independence and more commitment to saving and preserving our trees. And I know that there's going to be a California Urban Forestry Master Plan developed, and they will be looking for a place to create an urban forest. And Wild Walnut was something that I had heard just through the grapevine that that's a possible destination for this effort. So one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is because I know we have not budgeted for landscaping. And if we are going to have some landscaping improvements, we might want to talk to the Environmental Commission, which is what we've always done. We always collaborate with other commissions and see what they can do for us in terms of adding more shade trees and maintaining them. We did have, when I walked the park, we did see that some trees were planted, but they weren't properly maintained and they died. And they were even labeled with tags. This tree was planted and was an oak tree and 2 oak trees. So let's make sure that the landscaping that we do will provide shade, maybe not right away, maybe in a few years from now, but we do have this urban forestry master plan that the tree board is going to be, the Environmental Commission is going to be looking into, and maybe we can bring these resources to us and work together.
Sure.
Okay. I think we're done. Unless anybody wants to add anything, you can come back again and say something that's on your mind that you just thought of. Everybody is done? Terrific. Is Megan still with us? Because she's muted.
I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay, I just want to make sure that you're participating. Okay.
I am.
Okay, terrific. Okay, I think we're ready to go to the next park.
Okay.
Okay, I'll turn it over to Erica to give us her update.
Thank you, Charlotte. So Brandon's Village Playground Project. Let me give you a little background on that.
Thank you for contacting Amazon.
In February, we did a study on the safety. The playground inspector noticed some shifting of the playground equipment in about January. So we had a safety inspector and another company come out and look at the playground and determine what the issues were. So what's happening with Brandon's Village is the substrate. There wasn't a proper substrate built under the pour and play surface when the playground was first built. So with the water, there's a lot of water. Obviously, there's some watershed that goes underneath, and we know we have that county project that captures all the stormwater under there. So there's a lot of water that travels through the park. So traveling through, it's deteriorated underneath, which is causing sinkholes and things, which is collapsing the pour and play surface, shifting the playground equipment, causing it to break. So with that being said, our playground inspector determined fall height, where there's a certain standard of distance where a child can fall from a certain area that is unsafe. Items that were unsafe, we took offline, we removed from the playground, or we closed. He continues to look at that weekly, and will remove things as needed. So in May, we presented a recommendation to approve the Gates Canyon project to City Council with the help of Unlimited Play. I think that's let me mute someone here.
Yeah, you're getting overridden a little. Yeah, thank you.
I think that's good. Okay. So with that being said, obviously we needed to replace the playground equipment, and that playground equipment being constructed in 2006. They're not easily manufactured pieces to replace because of the age of the playground, which caused us to have to replace the playground altogether. So with that being said, we went to City Council with approval for the project, which they did in August of 22. They asked me to come back with some additional information, and I went back in September of 2022, and they approved the project. So from there, we've been having some workshops, just as we have with Wild Walnut. And last Saturday was our in-person workshop. So throughout the workshops, we've been asking what kinds of things that the community wanted to see, what amenities that they wanted to see at the park. So we got a lot of great feedback. We put out some surveys. We had most of our surveys are getting tremendous responses, which is fantastic for us and for the community. So kudos to the community for chiming in on that and really giving us information. So with that, we did a design. So the very last survey was a question on what theme that we wanted to make the playground. And one theme was superhero and one theme was treehouse kind of nature. The community voted for the treehouse nature theme. So Little Tykes and our local rep designed a playground for us, and the custom team. So there's a lot of custom pieces on this playground. So with that, on last Saturday, we unveiled that to the public and got their feedback on that, and everyone overwhelmingly loved what was designed, and I will show you what that was. It was included in your packet, but I will share my screen and show you what that looks like. So let me back out of this just a little bit. So this is an aerial view, and this is actually the layout of Brandon's Village as it stands right now. This area down here is the tot 2 to 5-year-old, and this is the 5 to 12-year-old section. And this is the tennis courts to give you some perspective. So the footprint's going to remain the same. It's not being shrunk or enlarged at all. So that's the aerial view there. This is the 5 to 12-year-old playground. So with this, so when we were looking and working with the custom team, we wanted something to really say, how is this, how can we convey Calabasas in this this playground? Because right now Brandon's Village is kind of a showpiece. It's the cowboy theme. It's unique. It's not the same kind of nature theme that we have in most of the parks in Calabasas. So the custom team came up with this climbing hawk, which our team seems to love.
What is it?
So it's a climber. So you can, so this is like some ropes so kids can climb up into the actual, they can climb all the way into its head. And then from here, wheelchair access could go all the way into the hawk too. So it's fully accessible. And it's a climber, and we just adore this hawk. We think it really makes the playground. But in speaking with that, and you can see here, it's kind of the centerpiece. So this view coming up this way is coming from the parking lot. So if you walked up from the parking lot, the hawk would be kind of the first thing that you see.
It's fantastic.
I'm sorry?
I'm just saying it's fantastic. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
don't you love it? I love it.
It's really
But
cool.
yeah, it's very cool. The thing about the hawk, and this is what there's a caveat to it. The hawk is not in our budget. So we know that the Calabasas Community Foundation, along with the Kaplans, along with our consultant Unlimited Play, are doing some fundraising. This hawk is about $125,000. So Unlimited Play and some members of our team are approaching businesses. Obviously, the Kaplans are approaching businesses. But we really want to fundraise for this playground. And that's where I would like to ask the commission to help us and do that and kind of be the extension of the city and the department and really support the playground and maybe help us get that word out. And if you know of anyone that the Kaplans can reach out to, or our consultant can reach out to, that would be helpful. We've identified some folks that we're going to ask money for, but we really want to get this hawk. But so that's the 5 to 12-year-old area. This is the tot area. So this is kind of the treehouse theme. There's a little treehouse here. During that workshop, a good idea came about with, if we are going to say that this is a treehouse, that maybe the pour and play surface could be the clouds and the youth are above the clouds in the treehouse. Trying to give that imaginative play and really spark creativity while they're there. So that's something that we're going to work on with the design team on that. Some of the elements that were included were this inclusive swing, where you don't have to be able-bodied. You can lay down on this swing and participate. Kids could sit on it. So that's one, and you could see a better picture of it up here. And then we moved the sandbox area. So this sandbox area is actually in front of the tennis courts. It's hard to picture because the tennis court, screen isn't up here. But so, and this is an all-inclusive. So this is a raised sandbox. So someone in a mobility device could could play in the sand as well. And here are some of the elements. Right now, I think in this area is where we have the saloon and the jail. So these are just other nature elements and creative play and imaginative play that we heard from the community that they wanted. Another thing the community wanted was music. So these are musical instruments that were included as well. This spinner, the flat spinner is made for anyone who in a mobility device, someone who could just sit there. And they really inclusive or unlimited play really made it was great to hear kind of their presentation, because they really talked a lot about parallel play with abled bodies to not abled as abled. And it was really an awesome presentation to hear and to hear the stories of why we have these elements. So some of the other things is this spinner. This is made so someone could lay down on the bottom. They don't have to climb and they could just spin around on it. This here is called the Quiet Grove, and it's for youth with autism. When the playground gets overwhelming, they could sit in here and it's really quiet, but they could see through that. So when they're ready to re-engage the playground, they can leave that area. So these are some of the design elements. So what I'm asking the commission to do tonight would be to approve this moving forward and finalizing this design. And
I would like to say something.
Sure. Yeah, you don't have to. I'm just
before
asking.
we go to the action item.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do it now. I'm just asking what my recommendation is, and then you can definitely ask questions. So go ahead. Julie, you have questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Erica.
Sure.
I will just say that this is a park that when my 17-year-old was like 3 years old, so shortly after it was built, we used this 2 and 3 times a week. And specifically, there was a child who was in need of accessible play. And I just want to say that this was a phenomenal place, not just for the children, but also for the moms, and to be able to gather simultaneously and have our children playing together. So I love this space. I do have just a couple of quick questions. You answered my question about the sand.
Sure.
Are the misters still there?
No, and that was brought up. We'll look into that. I don't think that was built into the scope of the project. There's no misters there at this point.
Yeah, I know I know they're not there now, but they used to be there, and it
Yes.
was very helpful, particularly on, extremely hot days that we have, basically, July through October around here. So I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, they're not there now. It was brought up about the misters. That's something we'd have to look at with cost. And again, the playground that you see here is probably about $1.3 million. The amount that council approved is 1.1 million. So there's quite a few elements on here that has to be fundraised for. So there's very little room to add anything else. We can definitely look at that and see if that's something we could do. Again, we have to be mindful of the drought and using water, et cetera.
Yes, no,
But,
absolutely.
yeah.
I just wanted to, so as I'm reading through and as I read through your, the packet, specifically, the fiscal impact and the sources of funding.
Mhm.
So the 1.1 that has been approved, these funding sources have already been secured. Is that correct?
That's correct. So
Okay.
yes, the council approved 800,000 out of the CIP project. We applied for a grant for the pour and play surface. And then we had $125,000 that is for maintenance of Brandon's that council allocated when it was first built. So that brought us to the 1.1.
Okay, and so the Hawk and any other supplemental things, misters, whatever else would be the fundraising components.
Correct.
Great, thank you for your clarification.
Yes. Brad, questions?
Well, I just wanted to say, I think it's an amazing plan. It is so thoughtful. It encompasses everybody that might want to visit, including those with handicaps. And I just have a big smile on my face seeing how wonderful and thoughtful this is. So kudos to you and the people that designed this.
Thank you.
Really outstanding.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
I want to add my comment too, that I think that you did a great job in the design of this, and I hope you can raise the money to make it all come together.
Thank you, Laurel. Appreciate that.
And likewise, it's absolutely beautiful. I'm smiling ear to ear looking at it, especially working with young kids. I'm just floored with the beauty, and I really hope that we are able to raise the funds to do the hawk, because it's just incredible.
I know, it's outstanding. I just love it. I love it. Everyone loves it. They're like, what? I wish I had the picture. Maybe I could find that and send that to you all. But there's a backside where it shows the wheelchair going into the hawk, and that's just, it's a great photo or a great rendering. So
It's amazing.
It's really amazing. Great job. Yeah.
thank
really-
you.
Okay, I come from a background where I was actually at the school when our Brandon was getting his physical therapy. I was in the classroom when he was a little boy. I designed this at that school, and we built that school at the Las Virgenes Unified School District. So that school was like my beginning getting into special education. That was my springboard to the field. And he was one of the first students I had seen getting out of his wheelchair and doing wonderful things. And it was such a uplifting experience to see that we could provide that. And now we have this, which is, oh my God, this is the crescendo. But I would like to say one thing. There are a couple of skills that I don't see here, physical education skills that children, or typical children and children who might have some physical limitations. And I would just like to bring those up, because
Sure.
it's not just about what's pretty, it's about what works for
Yes.
helping these children
Of course.
improve their physical skills. The first thing I see is I don't see swings for older children.
They're here. Here they are. This is the 5 to 12-year-old. They're
Okay, where are they?
right here. I'm circling.
Where are they? Oh, those are 5 to 12-year-olds.
Yes, this
Okay.
is 5 to 12 with the green screen, which the color is open to, changing, but yes, there's the swings for them. And then
Swings are really important. It
and
gets the and there's the little guys. Okay.
yes.
It gets the spinal fluid moving.
Yeah,
The
that's
back
good.
of the head. And that's why, and that hits the pleasure center. And that is why children love swings, and they love it when their parents throw them up in the air and catch them. And they love it when the father turns the kid upside down and swings them. It's the same thing. It's the pleasure center of the brain, and that spinal fluid needs to move. The other thing that I don't see is balance and upper body strength. So let's do balance. Not every park has to have everything. I know that we have the balance at De Anza, so we have to look at our parks in there. But if there is a place to do something with balance, it could be climbing rocks, a rock wall, where they have to move one leg one way and balance it with the other leg.
Yes,
I see
absolutely.
something with orange here. Is that a climbing wall?
That's climbing, and there's some you can't see here. There's a climber. There's activity panels that you could climb. There are some climbing elements on here, but we will definitely note that. And if I can get some different perspective pictures, I'll send those to you, Charlotte, so you can let us know your thoughts on those.
I just want something that we hit all the body parts that we can possibly
Sure.
get.
Yes, and I think this is a climber too. On the little
okay.
guy. Yeah, there's some climbing elements here. Yeah.
Okay. And then the last one, well, there's another one too. We did the upper body strength. Now
Mhm.
that would be if you saw a ladder going this way and then a stand. The kids come up and then they go across the ladder. And
Sure.
that's upper body strength. And I don't see that.
Okay.
I worked with my granddaughter. She was in kindergarten. She was so proud of herself when she could get across the top.
Sure.
And so that was, and that the upper body strength is also something I'm looking forward to. As far as the sand play goes, I know that this might not be the most popular thing, but if we could get a water fountain near there or some kind of water source, children don't really like sand play unless they can make a little bit of mud. I'm telling you, I'm just telling you, just a little tiny bit of water,
Right.
even a little bit of a hose with a drip drip. That would be just a short hose with a drip drip. They will stay there for hours with a hose with a drip drip. It will be one of the most popular destinations because they just don't like playing with sand and just pouring it. But if they can build something with it, like a dam or something, that's what really makes sand play the best. They can use their imagination. So that's about what I'm looking at is the balance, the swings, the upper body strength, and sand play. And other than that, I think we've hit a lot. I see we have a lot of slides, and that's another thing that children love because it gets that fluid going in their brains. And I was just wondering one more thing if we could add. A lot of our children live in hillside property, and they don't get to use their tricycles. And I see a lot of flat area here. If we could build something where the parents we could delineate a bicycle path someplace in here. And that is so valuable to children, the right and the left, and moving their, and because our children, my grandchildren don't have any place. At Chaparral, we don't have, Bay Laurel has it. And I haven't seen the playground at Lupin Hill, but Chaparral does not. And even if they did have it, coming to the park, bringing your tricycle or even your two-wheeler with training wheels or roller skates, it'd just be a nice addition if we could do something. You know, one of the things that I've always wanted to build is I've never been able to do this, is one of my dreams, is, you know, those miniature golf courses, to build something where we had something along the side where like there's a horn where they could squeeze and drive their tricycle, and then, or even a figure 8 where they could go around. That would be just something else I've always wanted to see.
I've made that note.
I don't know, it's just a dream of mine to really do a great tricycle path with a lot of additions along the side.
Sure. I think Julie has her hand up, Charlotte. Sorry, I didn't interrupt
Sorry,
you.
I was monopolizing it with my dreams.
No, I just wanted to offer a suggestion that I have relative to the hawk, if we are able to get it built. Putting some sort of designation that doesn't have to be anything big, but a small plaque or some sort of signage that just explains the significance of the hawk to the city of Calabasas. You know, people that are visiting or that are new to the city, or just being able, maybe once they read that, they can step back and see that this was designed in the spirit of the hawk. So that is my suggestion.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
And
that.
our hawk is the red tail hawk. Is that
Yes.
right, Julie? So we want that hawk.
Right.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's on all of our stationery.
Our logo. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So
And,
that is a great idea, Julie.
If I could add to that, I love that idea. If we could maybe pay some sort of homage to the Chumash, since it's, since we're on their land, and that the hawk is very significant in their culture.
Thank you for that feedback. I appreciate that.
Wow.
Very, very good idea. I like that. Thank you so much for bringing that.
Okay. I'd like to go back a little bit to the funding. If we're done with the
Yes.
Okay, we have 1.1 million and we're trying to raise 4 million. I was asked at the steering committee meeting yesterday, I'm changing the subject a little bit, how much has been raised, and at what point do we start planning a design if we don't reach our goal?
Very good questions. So like I said, this playground as it's designed is at 1.3. We have 1.1, but I do want to remind everyone, and I keep trying to reiterate this to the public, to the commissioners, to the council. This park was originally built, Brandon's Village was built in 2006 for $975,000. City Council approved for me in 2022, $800,000 with a grant fund and with some other funding, which made it 1.1. Now, absolutely gracious for that money. We will build a beautiful park for that money. However, we all know that inflation from 2006, well, inflation for the past 2 years, for now, it's probably quadrupled. So if something was $975,000 in 2006, in 2022, we're looking at $4 or $5 million. So while I know the fundraising could be a point of contention with some folks, we really need it just to bring it to its scope that it is now. So we don't want to take down Brandon's Village and put up something that isn't as impressive. So yes, the Calabasas Community Foundation is really pushing that fundraising to help close that gap so we can just build the park at the scope that it is now. So I just always want to reiterate that we're working really hard to give the same playground with minimal money in today's dollars. So we hope that we can raise some money. At this point, the community has given about $6,000. So, and that we have not, that's not any businesses, that's pure community dollars, that's donating through our civic rec system. That's like $25 donations, $50 donations, which is wonderful. That $6,000 could buy us additional activity panels and things like that. So we're really excited about the community donating and appreciate that. And Charlotte, in regards to your question about the plan, so we're going to design a $1.1 million park. As we get funding, like I said, for additional panels and things, those can be added throughout the process. Those won't stop the design. Those won't stop the process, nothing like that. We're going to continue. We can continue fundraising for months while this is on order, and we can add elements. I mean, we can add additional areas, play areas in the sand. We can add additional swings. We can add things to it. It doesn't hinder us. But we aren't going to design a $1.5 million playground and not be able to build it. We're designing a 1.1, and as we raise money, we will definitely add components to it. So that's the plan. So the park's going to be built on schedule. The fundraising does not hold it up at all. So
Good.
Okay, let me see what else I have here about that. There was a question raised about, and I got this new term, I've never heard this term before, called restricted donations. I probably don't know too much about this, but while we're raising money for Brandon's Village, some people got inspired and say, well, why can't we raise money for Wild Walnut? Is that going to be off limits right now, or can they do that?
anyone can fundraise for any park. I wouldn't discourage that at all. If someone wants to spearhead that, they definitely can. The Kaplans are spearheading the fundraising for Brandon's Village. We are utilizing some of our email lists to help push that. That's not to say we couldn't do that for something else, but if someone wanted to spearhead that effort and it not slow down the process, they can definitely do that. We wouldn't stop that at all. The city's not.
Are you going to consider, is there a possibility to consider building this park then? You're saying that you can take a park, build the foundation and add components to the foundation. And you're building a bigger foundation with anticipating that there's going to be other things, that room for more things.
No. So what I'm saying is, so let's just say we build this park here and we end up getting some funding, maybe funding for a upgraded slide or enhanced slide. Then we put an enhanced slide in, and this is during, again, we have to think about where there's a lead time for all of our materials, probably about 8 months. So if during that time we're raising funding, we can say, hey, we raised this money. Let's change this slide to a roller slide, which is more expensive, or let's add another set of swings or something like that. So we're not necessarily changing the footprint. We could just add more, let's just say more activity panels or additional climbers or things like that. So that won't hinder us at all. We can do that. The foundation and structure of the playground has to remain the same. The footprint of it's going to remain the same, but we can definitely add additional elements for the money that we fundraise without it affecting.
Are we using the same footprint for this park as that currently exists?
Correct.
Or are we changing? Oh, we are going to have the same.
Yes, the same footprint. We're not expanding it. We're not
Okay.
lessening
Now,
it.
you mentioned there was some ecological problems with the water that has eroded some of the subsurface.
Yes.
That water is still going to exist.
Yes. So that's a good point too, Charlotte. So we're putting concrete underneath the substrate. So we're putting concrete there so the water will not affect it. But then again, for just the foundation of this park, about $400,000 of it is going to go to the pour and play surface and the substrate, leaving us very little room for the actual playground equipment. So again, that's why the fundraising is so important for this. It's not that it's more important than any other park. It's just the need for it. So
I like the idea of seeing all of this and laying it out, but I just wish I had a better handle on what it's going to look like. I know I'm asking for an awful lot, but I love to just be able to walk through a park that already has all of these stuff. Is there a place that I can go to see it?
no, these are custom things. so no,
Okay.
there's not. I mean, the leveling and things like that are currently at Brandon's Village. So while these are all green and Brandon's is red right now, but that's very similar. The levels for the mobility devices and those kinds of things. But no, there's really no place to go to kind of showcase what it's going to look like.
Okay.
They did put it in the exact footprint. This is the exact footprint of Brandon's Village right now. So this is the exact footprint. So kind of give some perspective. When we did the engagement workshop, we put some of these designs in the actual perspective of the playground so people could kind of imagine it. And these aren't fully fine-tuned. Obviously, the custom team at Little Tykes did these renderings, but with the feedback we received, and any feedback we get from the commission will be included in this. So we were really looking at colors. Everyone seemed to really like the color. I like the idea of the clouds in the pour and play surface, which would put more of this blue. Basically, this would be a lot of blue and white here. I think that would give it a lot of pop of color. So that's something we'll get feedback on too. But if everyone, like I said, if we can move to the action item, if we're going to approve finalizing this design and moving forward with the construction process, then we can absolutely do that if everyone's comfortable with that.
I'd like to see you get more money. I really would. And
Yeah.
To me, to approve a project that is, it's tantalizing, but if we could just wait maybe until January after the holidays.
Right, we can't do that, and I'll tell you why that is. We have
Can
to,
or can't?
we cannot. We have to order this equipment before the end of the year, before inflation goes up. So, yeah, so that's why we've been pushing these workshops so quickly, is that inflation is going to go up about, I think Little Tykes said about 5 or 6%, which is going to take a huge chunk of the budget. So we're really trying to get input and move forward and get this ordered.
I have some okay, I'm on board with you that way, but I have some afterthoughts because I don't think fast on my feet. And like, for instance, the autism's little quiet space.
Sure.
I'm thinking about that, and I'm thinking about the merry-go-round, and all of these things are coming into my head. I would love to be able to sit down with you, and it's like a smorgasbord, and it's like going shopping with somebody else's money. I like that, and I would just like to have a little more say in what's going to go in if there are choices being made. Since I know these people are professional park people, but I'm also a professional.
Yes, well, they all of these elements. They're trying to keep near our budget, right? There are some enhancements that take it to 1.3, which is the hawk and a couple other things. But most of what you see here is is the park that will be built. We can't necessarily, we put in as much as we can for the money we can. There's no smorgasbord, there's really no picking. That's as much as we're gonna get for our $1.1 million.
Is this the quality? Is this gonna last?
Oh, yes. This is just like Brandon's Village. I mean, Brandon's Village, if the substrate wasn't shifting, it's been there already since 2006. What is it?
17 years.
There you go. Good. There's the mathematician there. 17 years. So yes, they say we wouldn't have to touch this park for 20 to 25 years. So with the substrate, with the quality of the,
I just love it. I'm so excited about it. I mean,
I would like to get, maybe I was just thinking of the upper body strength of a basketball hoop that's a little bit lower, because that's what I saw going on at the school that we built, where the children had to throw things. And
yes, I think I saw, when you mentioned climber, I thought I saw.
If we could get something where they would throw a ball, and just that release is so important to them also.
Yes. And like I said, Charlotte, we would love to put everything in this playground.
I would love to have everything.
Yes, but we have to make some concessions. This is literally as much as we can squeeze in for our money. And again, it's a little over our budget. So, and talking to getting the feedback from the community and from the professional designers, this is as much as we can get bang for our buck, which actually is, pretty good for the amount of money we're putting into the actual substrate and not the playground structure.
Is this compatible with what the school, with what the city would say, okay, go ahead and do this? Are we stepping over our?
No. If you say to move forward with the design and construction process, I still have to send this information to council.
Okay.
I have to do those things. No, you're not overstepping your.
Okay, all right. I just want to make sure that
no,
this is the first time I've seen this on an agenda.
Yeah, well, I'm giving you guys some power. We want some input.
I've been waiting for it.
There you go.
You went there 3 times, and I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs like this. When are they ever going to come?
Yes, here you are, Charlotte. So yes, you're basically advising that I move forward in the process, and then I'm gonna present this information to council. Maybe not at a council meeting, maybe just in an email update, unless they want to see something more specific at council. But yes, it's going to go back to them. It's not going to land on you to say, yes, go forward. And then council says, hey, we don't like that.
So that's happened before. So I'm not
okay. No, I wouldn't put you in that position. I wouldn't.
But I just want to make sure, because it is a lot of money, and we're making plans to build a park that we don't have fully funded. And that's like trying to build, for me, it was like building a school and saying, well, we'll, rent a parcel tax to finish it or something.
Yeah, no, we're, like I said, the park will be built no matter what. The fundraising is a side effort. So
Okay.
it's not we're not gonna delay it so we can get more money. We're gonna build a $1.1 million park.
And then they'll have to cut out some things, right? What we see is 1.1. No, you said it was 1.3.
1.3, some of the elements that the Hawk takes most of that money, like I said, because that's about 1.3 is $200,000 and the Hawk is 125. So some of the other elements are smaller enhancements.
So they went ahead and they created a plan based on what their experience has, given them the guidance. And so how do you feel about, can I ask my group here?
Sure.
How do you feel about giving Erica the green light to pass along to these people who are doing the park?
I'm all for it.
Yes.
You teach special, and you teach little children. You have
Yes,
school.
and I used to be a special ed teacher.
Oh, good.
before.
Okay, so we got 2 special ed teachers here. Aha. And Brad, Julie, how do you feel?
Yes, I support it.
And Laurel? Laurel was a principal.
Oh.
Sorry, I had it on mute. Yes, I support it. Yes, I was a principal. And
So we've
director-
got 4 educators here, actually,
Yeah.
and a businessman. So we're in good shape here. All right. So do you want me to
Yeah.
ask
So we
for a vote?
need to make that motion.
Okay. Okay. So with the design process, you have one team, and with the construction process, it would be another team.
So Unlimited Play is our consultant for the all-inclusive. So they're the ones ensuring that every component that goes into this park is inclusive for all play. So I wanted to make that mention to everyone to feel comfortable that it's not Little Tikes that's designing. They're designing it, but with input from Unlimited Play, who is the all-inclusive experts. So
Okay. So the design is technically one phase and one contractor, and the construction is another. They're collaborating, but basically it's two different subcontractors.
It's not. Little Tikes is doing the design and the construction.
Oh, I see.
Yes,
Okay.
Unlimited Play is consulting on what to design for it
Okay.
to be all inclusive. Yes.
Okay. All right. May I judge? Okay. May I have a motion to recommend that we direct, or we ask Erica to move forward with the design and the construction process. Is there a motion? May I ask for a motion? Erica,
I
how do
move
you
that
want me
we
to word
move
it?
forward with the process.
Okay, the design, okay. So Megan's, do you want to tweet, do you want to wordsmith that, Erica, a little bit? For you?
Right.
I'd like to offer the motion that we move forward with this project to the next phase of bringing it to council.
Okay, is that a good one?
That's
Okay.
perfect. Yes.
Okay, is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
I,
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The motion passes 5-0. Yahoo, okay.
Thank
All
you.
right, now we have, I feel like I accomplished a lot tonight.
You did.
This is really good. Okay. Let's see now. Let's go back to the agenda here. Okay, now the Arts Council. Laurel, do you want to, I think that's, continued business. We don't have any continued business.
sure. I'll just say, we've had a lot of emphasis with our parks. So some of the arts has not really been the focus at this point, but we did manage to have our photo contest, which we talked about. And in the Calabasas Premier Magazine, we have, I'll just show some of the entries, and the winners were focused on. There's one, and I'll just show you 2 or 3. And, you know, I think the purpose of this was to get people to really look at their community, look at the beauty of their community. There were different categories, open space and the community activities. And I think sometimes when you do something with art, you pay attention. You pay attention to the flowers or the hillsides, or, you know, the sculptures that we have around the library. And so I thought it was a really good start. And we're going to continue with the photo contest and continue to put the winners in our Premier Magazine to focus on that. And Eric, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add about that.
Sure. Well, first I want to just let everyone know that Laurel volunteered her time along with our communications director and myself to review all of the photos, and we came up with the winners. The winners received, everyone got a letter and received a little Parks Make Life Better gift. The winners received a gift card of I believe $25 each. So we are going to do these quarterly with the activity guide or the brochure. So our next round is going to end in January, and then I will ask Laurel to help us if she would like to do so, help us judge again on those. And the whole point of that is, like Laurel said, we want people to look at the community, take the pictures, fall in love with the city. They already love it, showcase it, and then also get pictures for our brochure to have our people in those. Because, you know, right now we have to use some stock photos. We don't have a lot of people in our programs. I mean, we have a lot of people in our programs, but not photos of people in our programs. So we're hoping that, you know, parents could take pictures of their kids playing at the park or in basketball or at the senior center or wherever it is. So we can actually have our folks in the brochure. So that's really what the guiding force was. And then just to get people to enjoy art and then from there enhance it. And Laurel had a lot of great ideas of maybe we take some of those photos and we print them and we showcase them. So there's a lot we got to do, but Laurel's right in the fact that right now I'm kind of being consumed a lot by the park projects and the community center. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to give it as much attention as we'd like. But I want to thank Laurel for all her work on what she's been doing and her great ideas. So thank you, Laurel. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Wonderful.
And good job on the parks.
Thank you.
Laurel, can we have the the pictures, the photographs presented at our meetings? So in other words, we could show these pictures like a montage, rotating montage or sub montage. And
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
well,
Shelley.
you're giving out awards, but it would mean more if we could do it at a meeting where we could
If what? I'm
publicize
sorry?
it. If we could have the awards presented at a meeting at one of our pre-meetings.
We can definitely do that. Yeah, we can definitely do that. Right now, we just, yes, if that's the case and they can join us, we can definitely
And show their work and give them
Yeah.
some public recognition.
yeah.
Totally do that.
I would
Yeah.
love to have them come.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea.
That is a great idea.
Okay.
Just to build on that, I just wanted to say, you know, in the Environmental Commission, they do a wonderful job of highlighting the kids, you know, for the recycling contest that have the drawings. It's a really meaningful opportunity. I realize that this is quarterly instead of annually, but we recognize the teachers that, you know, it's just definitely like a community event. So if we can't do it quarterly, maybe we could just designate one meeting, you know, throughout the year where we do recognize the art contest winners
Yeah.
and allow them to be able to tell us a little bit about their work or whatever. It's very cute. Like the kids write a little speech and, you know, it's very nice. So
I love intergenerational things.
Yeah, no, that's great. Thank you. I think that's a fantastic idea.
So we're going to
Great
only do
idea.
this once a year, or are we going to do it more frequently?
We could see, let's see how it goes. I think, Laurel, how many winners I think we only had we had 3 category winners, or only 2 this time. So I think we have 3 categories or 4. So at most it would be 4 that we would highlight. We would highlight the winners of each category. So we could probably do it quarterly at our meetings. It wouldn't take too much of our time. I think that'd be great. So they don't lose the effect of it. So we're saying, hey, it was in the brochure and now the commission's going to recognize you. Yeah, that was a fantastic idea. Thank you. Thank you all for thinking of that. I appreciate it.
Okay. And also, I don't think I spent enough time publicizing it at the senior center. It was just on the paper. But if I have my flyer and we could put it in our brochure, and I would talk it up more. But
Sure.
if it's on television, it was good PR to get this.
Yes, that's absolutely right. That's a great idea.
Okay. All right. The community center, Heath is not here today. I know that they're doing a new roof. Do you want to add anything to it, Erica?
Yeah, that was actually in my director's report, so I could either do it now or if you want to wait till my report.
Okay.
Either way.
Whatever you want.
Okay, I'll save it for the director's report so we can
Okay.
chat about it.
Well, the senior center, oh my goodness. We do have our newsletter, and it has everything you would ever want to know about the recreation activities. And that coupled with the premier catalog, we really are an award-winning senior center. We have about 97 activities that have been planned, from excursions, from classes, from we have all sorts of stuff. So I'm just going to go through it. There's registration dates. We've already passed the registration dates, have already begun for members. and for residents. And now they're beginning December 12th is non-residents. And we have some wonderful activities. The first big thing we're doing is a holiday toy drive. And that will be from November 14th through December 16th. And this will benefit, this will benefit the Valley. Ooh, I'll think of it in a second. The Valley, will come to me. But it's one of the charities that serves the children of the San Fernando Valley. You will see around the city boxes where unwrapped gifts can be put in. We're hoping to raise 2,000 of them with up to 300, so we have a long ways to go. We have a holiday cheer party that will culminate our toy drive, and that is going to be December 12th at 6:30, and we're partnering with Rick Caruso and his organization, and it's a kickoff of the holiday season with delicious bites, hot coffee, and live music performed by the Calabasas High School Music Club. And I have to tell you, they were here once before, and it was amazing, and we invited them to come back. And also we have our savvy singers performing, and the admission fee is a new unwrapped toy worth about $10. And RSVP, you can call the senior center and sign up for that. We also have, we have something that's absolutely fantastic. It's called the Get Smart About New Vehicle Technology. This is brand new and it's free. And if you are driving a car and you are confused or flummoxed about all the technology that you're looking at and how to use it, this is the program for you. I have a friend, they bought matching Teslas and the husband can use it just fine and she doesn't, she's pulling her hair out. So this is what we have, but they've got adaptive cruise control for seniors, reverse safety technology, blind spot warnings, lane departure warnings, drowsy driver alerts, featured technology, additional technology, and the future of transportation. And it's going to be at 1.5 hours, January 12th in Founders Hall. And it's called the Smart Driver Tech. It's a 90-minute workshop. So I think this is something that anybody who's thinking about getting a new car wants to get up to speed on the technology. That would be a great addition. Let me see what else we've got. We've got, yes, we still are offering free tech help. No appointment needed. Drop in every Wednesday from 4 to 7:45. We have club news. We have many clubs. Some of them are the book club, the bridge club, canasta club, Karen Calabasas, chess club, hiking club, a lunch club, photography club. Oh, yes, our photography club could definitely partner with us. So I will definitely talk to our photography club chair, David Hurwitz, and bring him on board. And by the way, we gave Mary Sue a photograph
I
when
saw
she
it.
retired from a member of his club. It was Carol Washburn donated that picture.
It's beautiful.
Gift, a parting gift. We have ping pong, poker, a Scrabble club. So these clubs are a great way if you want to meet people with a common interest in an informal setting. This is the great way to do it. And one of we contact and our Karen Calabasas Club partners with existing charities, so we don't want to handle money. And one of our students was actually a student who started Soul for Souls, and she got a $36,000 gift from Barry Deller, who is a very phenomenal person. And he picks 5 students every year who have leadership qualities. And this was one of our students that we partnered with, her Soul for Souls. And she's raised over 56,000 pairs of gently used shoes. And we will be doing that drive again this year coming up. And we're very proud of her. And we partnered with her. Let's see what else we've got here. I think that's about it. I just want to make sure that the photo contest, when we printed this brochure, was open for entries, and I hope that we can do it again and make it part of our programming.
Yeah.
So that's all I know. We have technology classes, art classes, excursions, and the pop-up driver tech workshop is not in the catalog. We call that a pop-up event. And I'd like to thank Erica because we were not able to do pop-up events before. So flexibility is appreciated. If it's not in the catalog, can't do it. So, but now we can. So that was really good. It was limited for sure. So that's about all I know. And I'm going to turn it back to Erica to do what she does, and that is the Agoura Calabasas Foundation or the Calabasas Community Foundation, whichever one you want to talk about.
Yeah, so thank you, Charlotte. I'll start with the Agoura Hills Calabasas Community Center. So the City Council and the Calabasas City Council and Agoura Hills City Council agreed to enter into a lease agreement where the City of Calabasas is going to lease Agoura Hills half of the community center, which makes Calabasas the full operating agency of the community center. So we're excited about that. We're going through the process of switching over some administration items. We did secure a project manager. We did secure a roof contractor. That roof contractor is finalizing some drawings, and hopefully we can order the roof equipment or roof material early January and receive that in about 5 months. And during that time, our staff will be training, we'll be hiring and recruiting staff, looking at programming, things of that nature. So we're excited to have the community center in our department and hopefully opening that soon this year or next year. So I just wanted to give that update that we're moving forward in that direction, and our community services team will be the one who's staffed at that community center. So we're excited to bring some new and creative programs and services to the community center.
Before you begin, does anybody have any questions about the Agoura Calabasas Community Center? Okay. I would just like to add, this community center served as an after-school program destination for A.E. Wright Middle School. So I hope we can continue letting them know when we can start that partnership again.
Sure. Thank you.
It was very important to them to have it.
Sure. The next on the list is the Calabasas Community Foundation. I talked a little bit about this. The City Council approved that the city create a nonprofit 501c3 for any sponsorships, donations. That includes property, monetarily. So our department, I'm the chair or the secretary of that foundation. The city manager is the chair, and our finance director is the CFO. We are recruiting for 2 community members to be part of the board. One must be a business owner. That process is going to be the same as any other commission. You'll fill out the application, which will go to our city clerk. Right now, we're finalizing some of the foundation elements, so we haven't moved to creating the board fully yet. When we do, I will let everyone know. But we're excited to have that nonprofit as a fundraising arm for all of our programs. So the library could utilize that. Any department can utilize that. So we're excited to get that put together. Is there any questions on that?
Does anybody have any questions? I do.
Okay. Yeah.
The Community Foundation, the composition of the board. Is there any reason why we can't have more community members on it?
We limited to 5, trying to keep the board as consistent as we could.
Right.
And right now, with it being new, we didn't want to commit too many people that we couldn't fill to have vacancies. So we're hoping, and we've had interest already. So I know that we'll get those board members complete. And again, those board members are appointed by city council, just like commissioners are. So
Okay, so they'll be appointed by the council.
yes.
And why does one person have to be a business owner?
we wanted to get the business community's perspective on,
Oh, okay.
yeah, on that too. So that was kind of the thought process, is getting someone who's vested in the business portion as well as.
We have the Chamber of Commerce, a very active Chamber of Commerce. So maybe we could reach out to them to send us or to publicize this. We spend a lot of money supporting the Chamber. Chamber is a very integral part of our community.
Absolutely.
And so if we could maybe have an alternate, if you want to do an alternate, then we could, I'm going to wiggle it one more. But maybe as an alternate, we could definitely have somebody from the Chamber participate in this, because that would open up a whole arena of businesses that we.
Yeah, we can definitely involve the Chamber. That's a great idea. The structure of the board was already approved by City Council. That was in the bylaws and in the
Okay.
articles of incorporation. So yeah. So, but yes, so we're excited about getting that started and using that to our advantage.
One things I would like to ask, if it's possible, since the meetings are not going to be like a chain, like a commission, where they're televised, and can they come with can we get an update at our quarterly commission meetings as a part, like what's going on with that foundation? Because it says Calabasas Community Foundation, and we want to be a part of the part of what's going on there, what you're raising, what you're doing, so that we're in the loop.
Of course.
This is televised. You don't have to televise the meeting, but televise your report.
Sure.
Okay, that's all.
And the last thing on the list was the recreation brochure. I know that Stephanie had made mention about the brochure coming out, so I just wanted to let everyone know that the brochure is triannually, actually, and it comes out December, April, and August of every year. Early December or late November. You know, we say December, but it could come out a little earlier if we're if we can get it that way. But so the December brochure covers the months of January through April. The brochure, the summer brochure covers May through August, and that comes out in April. And then the fall brochure covers September through December, and that comes out in August. So we are currently in this winter spring brochure that just came out. So I just wanted to let everyone know, we will publicize when each one comes out. Our communication team usually does a good job of promoting that it's coming in your mail. So we will do that a little more and get that information out to everyone. And then I had one more question I wanted to get the commission's feedback on. I know we meet quarterly, and it's hard to keep up with what's going on when we're meeting quarterly. So I wanted to get your feedback on if I did a monthly update email to you, like what's happening in community services, and then you guys could reply to me or ask me questions or call me or whatever you need. But I don't want it to seem like we're not communicating because of that time in between. It's definitely not the case. I want your input. I want to talk about things. I want your feedback. So I was thinking if I can do that to you, kind of a monthly update of what's happening in all areas of community services. And then if you have any input, we can definitely talk about that. So how does that sound to everyone? Is that helpful? I know we get the significant activities report, which has things that the department does, but I can give a little more, detail. And the significant activities, we're not saying like basketball starts, but
well, I'm in favor. I feel comfortable with that. I know that there are limitations on personnel matters and
sure, yes, yeah.
But we hear things from there, but just what you're talking about, I think would be helpful. And I think, as you can see, we have good ideas.
I also think that would be a great idea, Erica.
Okay.
And sometimes there's a lot of things like with the parks that are changing from day to day and week to week. And so sometimes with a quarterly meeting, you're not quite sure what's happened, with the latest developments. So I think that's an excellent idea. And thank you for taking the time or proposing to take the time to do that. And I think it's great.
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Julie, you want to say something? You look like you were about to say something.
I'm definitely in favor of that. My question was actually going to be, as a follow-up to that. I see that the next scheduled meeting is January 9th, if we are still planning to have that meeting on that date, in 2023.
Mhm.
I think that,
Yes. That's our
Yes.
regularly scheduled meeting time, yes.
Yes, we are. Okay.
Mhm.
And then I'll wait for my next question until we move to the future agenda items.
Okay. So that's all I have.
Megan, I haven't heard from you. Are you still with us here? Are you okay
I'm
with
I'm
the
here. I
idea?
just don't have a question.
Okay, but are you comfortable with the suggestion?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
And Brad, you too?
Brad said he had to leave the meeting.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, so I think this is a great idea. Thank you for suggesting it. Okay, is there anything else?
No, that's my report. Thank you.
Okay.
It does look like, Chair Meyer, it does look like that one of the attendees has a comment or a question in the,
Was-
I'll allow her to.
Oh, we have a chat.
Yeah, no, not a
Oh.
chat. Rosa Besser's raising her hand.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Right. Chair, that's up to you to allow her to talk, since the public comments we've already been through.
Rosa, if you can just summarize, sometimes we go informal because we just do. Rosa, go ahead.
Sure. No, I think it's a wonderful idea to disseminate the information. Is there a way, I don't want to respond, but can there be a public bulletin board of what is going on monthly for the public of what's happening in parks? Because it is a very long time just meeting quarterly. Some kind of format and just to know what's going on.
Sure, yes.
Let's see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll see if we
let
could
maybe
do, yeah.
Let's take it one step at a time, Rosa. This was a giant step for mankind. This is a wonderful thing that we're asking for.
But
I
Rosa,
think-
you could always reach out to me. We have quite a few email exchanges. So if there's any questions you have or you want an update, just email me. I'll let you know that. Absolutely.
Sure, I understand that. It's just, I don't want to bug you. If I could just see, oh, okay, there's progress, this is going on, and this is going on, and
Yeah, we'll take that into consideration and see
Okay.
if there's something that we can do. I know with the projects, we get a lot of questions, so I don't know if that's something we can publish on the website, or maybe we can do some updates so someone could visit the site and see what's happening up to this point. So it's a great suggestion, and yes, absolutely.
sure, that would be helpful, and I could probably field some of the phone calls that you might be getting and say, okay, well, here's what's going on.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
I think we're done. Does anybody have anything else that they would like to add at this point?
I think we're moving to the future agenda items.
Okay, go ahead.
Mine was actually just, I saw that that Jeff Campbell was on the call, and he was, if you look back at the director's report from our agenda from July 11th, he was going to, he was introduced as the new recreation manager and was going to be attending the next meeting. I saw that he was on.
He was on, yeah.
Yeah, but is not anymore. So I was hoping that we could have met him.
Okay, we can definitely do that in January for sure. That was my oversight. I should have invited him too.
And then the other is just an update on where the student member recruitment is.
We actually have a student member who will be coming to the January meeting. So I know we had that interview. I think Charlotte, did you and Stephanie have the interview with the student member?
I believe we did, but that was so long ago.
Yeah, I know, poor thing. So January, the student member will come to the meeting.
Great, thank you so much.
I think it's really important. I'm glad that you brought that up because we're working so hard now to have leadership opportunities for high school students. And this is one of the ways that the city nurtures that.
Yeah, he's a wonderful student. So,
and I have one more item, which is a potential future agenda item. we may have a very different composition of PRE after the election and the city council members are sworn in and they appoint or reappoint individuals to roles. So to the extent that we do have a different composition, it would just be nice if we had something on the agenda to be able to thank the outgoing people or
Absolutely.
to be able to recognize, anyone. So I just wanted to recognize or add that as well.
Okay. I know that the timeframe for applications was extended, so I don't know if even in January we'll have the appointments. So it may be our group again, which is great. But I will definitely keep you updated on that.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that we're done unless anybody would like to add anything more.
Well, then I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Is there a second?
Yes, I second.
Okay, we have a motion by Laurel and a second by Julie to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion passes. 1, 2, 6, 0. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 0. Motion passes unanimously.
I want to thank you all for your time and reviewing the presentations and giving me your feedback. I definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Have
Thank
a
you.
lovely holiday, all of you.
Oh, I wanted to
Happy
say, also, I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah to
Yeah.
you and to your loved ones and to anyone else who is watching this show. Thank you.
Thank
And the
you.
winter solstice.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you, everyone.
you. Good night,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.